You will remember this week. This is a week that when you look back a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you would say, you know what? I listened to the weekly summary. It made sense to me. Maybe I increased my investments. Maybe I changed my investments. Maybe I did something after I listened to the news on this video. So hello, everyone. I'm Micha Stocks. And on this video, we talk about stocks. We summarize the week in the stock market. And a quick reminder that nothing here is financial advice, only education and, of course, entertainment purpose only. Let's dive in, and we will start, as usual, with the major averages, which ended on the red side, at least most of them. NASDAQ was the only one up 0.73% for the week. S&P down 0.6%. RSP, which is the equal weighted S&P, down 1.64%. We're going to talk about the RSP at the end of the video. Dow down 1.8%, and the Russell down 2.45%. By the way, if you enjoy these kinds of videos, you're more than welcome to subscribe to the channel and, of course, turn notifications on. Every week, there's a weekly summary where you can get updated on what is going on in the stock market. Let's dive into the indices themselves. Except XLY, which is a consumer discretionary, all the rest are on the red side, and you can see materials down 2.9%. A very bad week for materials, for utilities, and also for healthcare. Seems like materials is having a tough time with the tariffs and China and a lot of things. This is currently not the best sector to be overweight on. If you're exposed to the crypto market, you had an amazing week with Ethereum up 4.7% and Bitcoin up 4.5%. And we're going to talk about that with the new inclusions to the NASDAQ 100 when we talk about the news. That happened on Friday. On the materials side, you can see that on the commodities side, you can see natural gas up 6% for the week, crude oil up 5%, but gold and silver down between 0.7 and 4.7%. And that brings us, as usual, to the Magnificent Seven. Magnificent Seven with extraordinary performance from Tesla and Google. Google, we're going to talk about the news that's related to Google. Very, very exciting news. On the Tesla side, currently there is no one that is going to go against the relationship between Trump and Musk. That is mainly the reason why Tesla stock is going up, unless there is news that we don't know about. But if you ask me, if I was a short seller, I would currently not go against that relationship until a speed bump would be presented. And that is why week after week in the last few weeks, you can say from the election, Tesla is up almost $500 billion in market cap since the election. More than $500 billion in market cap. That's how much the bet that Elon Musk put on Trump made a lot of sense, at least for Tesla shareholders. Apple is up 2% for the week. We have a few pieces of news regarding Apple. Microsoft is fractionally up. Same for Amazon. Meta is down for 0.5%. And NVIDIA, with a bad week, down 5.7%. NVIDIA has a week or 2 weeks to take a decision, or at least the stock to take a decision, whether they're turning around and going up, or they are going down by 10 to 15%, at least according to the charts. This is all related to the charts, of course. Okay, that brings us, as usual, to the news of the week. And we will start Friday night, 8 p.m. The NASDAQ decides on their annual changes. For the NASDAQ 100, the ticker is QQQ. That's how you can, of course, buy the NASDAQ 100 and take a listen. This is what's going to happen. Palantir is going to be added, which we knew because they changed from New York Stock Exchange to the NASDAQ in order to be included. That was expected. Exxon had an amazing run this year. Okay, pretty much expected. But the big surprise, which there were rumors or murmurs about during the week, MicroStrategy is going to be included. Why is that so dramatic? Because MicroStrategy is an analytics company with dashboard capabilities. Up to now, no surprise. But since 2020, August 2020, MicroStrategy has decided to go on a new path. They decided to be the Fed for the Bitcoin, or the Bitcoin, let's call it reserve currency. And they keep on buying more and more and more Bitcoins. They currently own 2% of all available Bitcoins from now to 2050. 2% out of the 21 million Bitcoins available. This inclusion means that every person that owns the NASDAQ by proxy owns a fraction of a Bitcoin through MicroStrategy. That's how dramatic this inclusion is, and we'll see during Monday's session and maybe Tuesday how the stock will react. On the flip side, in order to enter or to include 3, you need to exclude 3. And the companies that were excluded were Illumina, ticker ILMN, you can see it at the bottom of the screen, SMCI, Super Microcomputers with all their financial issues. NASDAQ didn't want to take any chance on them, and Moderna. And this shows the changing of the guards between Illumina and Moderna, stocks that were very hot during the COVID, during the pandemic, versus MicroStrategy and Palantir. Totally different. And that's where the market is going. It's shouting that's where it's going. Thomas Pettifree, IBK, Interactive Brokers founder and CEO, tweets this very, very interesting tweet, but then deletes it. And he says the following. So over the last 3 months, our margin loans are up 16%, and which is rather, it's a bit, very something, meaning he's sounding the alarm, saying people are taking more risk than expected, and he connects it to the somewhat overextended market. He hopes it comes down slowly and doesn't crash down, because then his platform will start liquidating people. And of course, that's never too good to have your portfolio blown up because you took too much leverage. So if you're on leverage, if you're on a margin loan, listen to this person. He's not against you. He doesn't want to blow your account. He's sounding the alarm saying, people are getting a bit too excited. And of course, during Thursday's session, Donald Trump is announced Times Magazine Person of the Year. He comes to ring the bell on the New York Stock Exchange, and for almost an hour, he is articulating in the best way he can that he is going to be the president for the stock market, or pro-stock market. He wants growth. He wants US first. He even had cheers of USA in the Wall Street floor. Everyone was super excited from that visit, and hopefully these 4 years are going to be amazing for the stock market. And why hopefully? Because this channel is talking about stocks in the stock market. It's very focused on us. And Broadcom had an amazing earnings, or actually not so amazing earnings, but an amazing forecast. So they missed on the revenue, they beat on their earnings, but then their CEO, Hock Tan, said, listen, guys, the opportunities that we see in AI are crazy, are massive. That, of course, shot up the stock. It didn't go up only 13%. It went up 25% in one day. And that included Broadcom to be one of the $1 trillion companies out there. Can you believe? Up until a few years ago, we didn't even have one company that was $1 trillion. And now we have several, I think around 8 or 10 companies. BlackRock did something that they didn't do this week. I told you this week is a monumental week. It's a week that you will remember. BlackRock updates their customers and says in 2025, you should have up to 2% Bitcoin allocation, and that's a reasonable range. I have more than 2%, to be fully transparent, because I think Bitcoin is going up during 2025 to around 200,000, maybe even 250. That's 2.5 from here. And again, this is not financial advice. This is everyone should do what they think. And that is why I'm allocated more than 2%. But the fact that BlackRock talks to their professional asset managers and they talk with their customers and say that they need at least 2% Bitcoin allocation, that is a dramatic twist in the crypto market and, of course, in the exposure to Bitcoin. We had CPI. Look how many pieces of news we got until we got to CPI. That's how monumental this week is. Okay, CPI came in 0.3%. We saw a bump from last month. It was expected. Not a big surprise for the market. And the market took it very well. The market got a bit frightened from the PPI, actually, which came a day later, the producer price index, because it went up a bit more than expected. The expectation was 0.2 and it came 0.4. And of course, the questions about sticky inflation came up. Do we have a sticky inflation or not? Did it really impact Fed funds? It did. And the expectation for a rate reduction just went up to 96%, that there's going to be a rate reduction of 25 basis points, although inflation is up. Google with an amazing week. They introduced their new quantum chip called Willow. They ran the quantum chip, and of course it runs a lot faster. I don't know how to articulate how fast. Task that it can do in a few minutes, a regular computer takes 5 years. Okay, that's how fast. They ran it. And the chip, or actually the software that ran it, came up with a result that indicates that there are multiple universes out there. Oh my God. They're also updating their Trillium TPUs in order to run their servers in a better way, less energy, more speed. Everyone is focused on speed and energy because AI is producing so much value that everyone wants to use AI. And it's at a point where it's become something that if you're not using AI today in your day-to-day, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, and all the other tools, then you're really, really behind. If you're living in New Jersey, you know that if you look up during the day or night, you might see drones. A lot of drones. Are they UFOs? Are they from a foreign entity? Are they from an adversary? We don't know. We do know that the Pentagon insists that it is not. But who knows? Maybe they're still out there. But what we do know is the truth is out there. Tesla with an amazing run, as I mentioned earlier, and the stock got to a number that, of course, everyone waited for, 420.69. Elon Musk, very happy from that, of course, because he keeps joking about these numbers. If you understand them, you understand, and if not, just Google them. Apple launches their integration with ChatGPT into Siri. Now Siri became smarter. She took the capabilities of ChatGPT, and hopefully she will be a lot more effective than just saying wrong things at the same time. Insurance companies, after the shooting of United Health Insurance CEO, a lot of scrutiny, a lot of bad feedback on insurance companies, and their stocks are falling this week, mainly because there will be a lot of changes that will hurt their top and bottom line, and they will be pro-consumers, of course. Walgreens is probably going to go private after a huge stock decline. Sycamore Partners is raising money in order to acquire Walgreens and to fix everything that goes on there. I believe in the next few weeks it will be closed, maybe by end of the year. OpenAI with the 14, 17 days of launches every day. Launched this week Sora. The ability to generate videos in seconds. And you know what? Since this is the English channel and you're less exposed to all the things I do on my Hebrew channel, which is running videos, let's generate a video, and then I'll continue with the news, and we'll end with that. Generate a video of a YouTuber presenting weekly summary. He has 2 cameras and he is bald. Okay? Let's run it. 5-second videos, 4 videos, and I'm creating. That's all I wrote, okay? I didn't do anything. It's added in the queue. Let's continue with the news. We'll come back to that at the end if I remember, and if not, then not. MicroStrategy keeps buying Bitcoins. We talked about it. They have currently 423,650 Bitcoins, which is around 2% of all the available Bitcoins out there. And we also had Tom Lee coming out with his 2025 prediction for the year. As you can see, Tom Lee believes that we will have a very strong first half, but then second half, we will get a correction and a run up until 6,600. This, of course, is something that is added to other analysts that are now forecasting for the year. You can see the distribution between them. We are currently at the S&P around 6050. UBS predicts 6400 on one side, and Oppenheimer predicts 7100. All these are for the end of the year. Tom Lee believes that we're going to see a huge run up, at least in the first half, and then we're going to see a correction. The reasons for this correction is because he thinks, or at least he says, that the second half is less visible. And if DOGE, which is the Department of Government Efficiency, is going to work very tediously in order to reduce costs from the government, it's great. But on the flip side, it means a lot of unemployment and reduction of contracts for the government. This, of course, will reduce the GDP, which will reduce the growth of America. And that is the reason why he says that. But again, he says in the middle of the year, I might change my forecast. And this might change because I just don't have enough visibility. This brings us back directly. Let's see if the video is ready. It's not ready yet. Then brings us back directly to next week. Let's go over all the news, and we will start as usual with companies that are reporting. These are the companies that are reporting. Monday, we don't really have a lot. Tuesday, we don't really have a lot. We're at the end of the earnings season, as you can see. Wednesday, we will have General Mills and Micron. Very interesting for the chip sector. And on Thursday, we will hear from Accenture in the morning. And at the end of the day, we will hear from Nike and FedEx, which would be very interesting. And Friday morning, we will hear from Carnival Cruise. On Monday, not something super interesting. Palo Alto will do their split 2-to-1, which means that every stock you have of Palo Alto, you will get another one. It's not free of charge. Of course, the stock price will go down accordingly. But what we will see is the impact of the inclusion to the S&P. That's on Monday. Tuesday, Fed officials are going to start discussing the rate probably reduction. Wednesday, we will get the decision. That will be 2 p.m. They will release the 25 basis points reduction. Why am I saying that? Is because 96% believe that it's going to be a reduction of 25 basis points. And, 96% is pretty close to 100. Thursday, nothing special. And as you can see on Friday, the PCE, a combination of CPI, PPI together with another 10% of the impact of PCE. This is the Fed's preferred inflation and preferred inflation gauge. And I would be surprised if they, on Tuesday, will not have the results for the PCE when they convene. Why? Because 90% of it is already known. You have CPI, you have PPI, they've been presented. The rest is not presented. It's a different allocation of weights, but they probably know. And that, of course, brings us directly to the S&P 500. And I will start this time, the S&P 500, actually talking about the RSP. RSP is the equal-weighted S&P 500, the equal-weighted 500 companies. If you know, the S&P 500 takes different weight according to market caps. There's a lot of criticism saying that it gives too much weight for the Magnificent Seven and not enough weight for others. The RSP comes to prevent that. It says, you know what, we're dividing it equally. Everyone has the same 2% impact, right? 0.5, sorry. Percent impact. Why is that important? Well, it means that there aren't favorites. If the RSP goes down, it means that most of the companies went down. We saw during this week 9 or 10 days where we saw negative breadth, where we had more decliners than advanced stocks in the S&P 500. And you can see it in the RSP day after day after day after day. Why am I starting with this? Well, as you can see, we got to the bottom part of the channel that I've just created here of higher lows. As you can see, a low and another low and another low. From a technical perspective, this becomes a very interesting spot. If we turn around and go up, it means that the RSP goes up. It means that more S&P 500 companies are going up, which is good. It means that the S&P comes up. If it keeps going down, it means that we have a serious problem that is consistent with several more days. As I see it, we might see another day or two, or we might get hesitation here for 2 days, and then after Wednesday, when they release the new rates, we will start seeing this creeping up. But I don't know. This is very interesting to keep following. And of course, we will go directly to the S&P 500. The ticker is SPX, although you cannot buy the average. You can buy ETFs that follow the average, like SPY and VU. And this is how it looks like. We're around between the 60, 100, and 60, 28. We probably will touch around the 6,000. As you can see, I put here the 20-day moving average on the light blue and the 50-day moving average on the green. We might come down all the way to 6,000, then touch the 20-day moving average, get it as a support, and then keep going up. If we go down from 6,000, we might hit the 50-day moving average at around 59.10, 59.20, because it keeps going up. That's where we are. We're basically 2 weeks till the end of the year. A week from Santa Rally. Santa Rally starts 5 days before the end of the year and 2 days after. We're talking trading days, of course, not calendar days. And we're very close. We're very close to the end of the year, which is going to be an amazing year. Probably next week or the week after, I will summarize the year and give you all the information, all the interesting data on how we ended the year. But this is another phenomenal year. And 2 back-to-back above 20% years on the S&P usually creates a very strong first half and a very weak second half that correlates exactly to what Tom Lee has presented to us. At least 5 out of 6 times that's the case. But on the 6th time, actually, second half was even better. So we will see. I'm Micha Stocks. Everything you saw is, of course, entertainment, educational. I will see you here. Wait, we have Sora. I almost forgot. Here is Sora. Here is the YouTuber. As you can see, the YouTuber has, of course, a beard because somehow YouTubers have to have beards. Here he is talking to the same microphone as I have, the Shure SM7B. And this video was generated through what I wrote it. Yes, it's amazing, I know. Let's go to the next video. You can see here, he's a lot more relaxed, talking with his hands. The microphone is basically floating. Very, very interesting. Here you can see he's demonstrating on the computer. At least he has 5 fingers in his hands and they didn't create something crazy. You can see he's now doing some kind of technical explanation on the video. And the last one, he's talking with a microphone that is being held by 2 different arms. Very interesting. He has a MacBook in front of him. He's explaining. You can see that the YouTuber uses a lot of his hands to explain. These videos were generated automatically by Sora. And of course, you can create videos for your parties. You can have NASDAQ inclusions. You can have a lot of celebrations. Let's see what else I have. You can, of course, create a happy birthday video and more and more. Sora.com is the website for that. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. And maybe you learned something that you didn't know. Till next time. Bye-bye.